Cool. Let's jump in. So just a baseline for everybody. I always like to start with what you're doing currently. You mind telling us a little bit about Banza?
Sure. So Banza is a food company. Our mission is to inspire people to eat more chickpeas and other beans. And that's because of their impact on human health and the environment. Chickpeas are one of the most efficient sources of protein by greenhouse gas emissions and water usage. They're also super good for you. It's not just the old rhyme, but they're high in protein and fiber, lower in carbs, low glycemic, a wonderful food. And so what we do is we turn chickpeas into foods that people already love. Pizza, pasta, mac and cheese, rice. We've been at it for about 6 years. And in that time, we've been the fastest growing pasta company in the country. And, in our view, really brought, healthy everyday staples to tens of millions of people. And again, we kind of think we're just getting started. And there's a long way to go, not just with us, but with all kinds of food companies that are trying to make, healthy products what we go to and select in the grocery store every day.
How did you guys decide to do chickpeas and pasta? How did that combination become the natural starting point for you guys?
Yeah, so you had highlighted, I'd been at Venture for America before. One of the fellows in the program in his first, in our very first class was in Detroit, working at a startup that I had helped him get a job at. And on nights and weekends, kind of like messing around with nutrition and food and things like that. And, he had long held that tech was a way to reach a lot of people. But, I think the more he thought about it, and as we thought about it over time, food is something that, everybody consumes every single day. And it's a wonderful way to have a large impact on a lot of people. And so he, a nutrition junkie, figured if he could make a better pasta at home with his hand crank out of chickpeas than the stuff that he could find in the store that was made out of, all kinds of other, flours and ingredients, then there might be something there. And so it was really just a happy accident where he wanted a better pasta for himself. We all kind of, started trying it in the office and, friends and family, and some retailer, in this case, Meijer in the Midwest, decided to kind of take a chance on us, and we were off to the races.
Okay, so you were helping him at Venture for America, and then jumped on as this thing kind of got real.
Yes, I'd like to say that I moved out of the house and into the garage. So yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I get the pain is the mother of all invention, right? For figuring out a food you need. Why chickpeas, though? Of all the vegetables out there, why did your co-founder, why did he decide to jump in and use chickpeas versus broccoli or something else? What are the characteristics or properties that make that relevant?
So the number one thing in food is always taste. If you're starting a food company and you can't win on taste and experience, you're not going to have a very successful company, and you're not going to be able to make the change you want to make. And I think we can see that with the way that like Beyond and Impossible have approached, making meat, or that Oatly's approached making milk, is you have to win on taste first. And so chickpeas are pleasingly starchy and actually quite neutral in flavor, and really versatile. So they're high in protein and fiber and, vitamins and minerals and stuff like that. But they also can be tasty and neutral. Lentils are a little bit peppery sometimes. And, other vegetables won't necessarily hold together if you try to turn them into pasta. If someone tells you they're serving you cauliflower pasta, it's either mush or a lie. There's only certain foods that'll work for certain applications. So for us, chickpeas was just the best choice, and that's kind of why we've stuck with it, in addition to those, health and environmental reasons.
And is it taste like pasta, or does it taste more like a different thing that's of chickpeas for people listening? When they buy it, is it just get rid of the pasta and use this and it's healthier, or is it another product, a new thing?
Our goal, and what we tend to find, is if you don't tell someone what it is, they're quite likely not to notice. Now, some people have discerning palates, or they don't serve their pasta with sauce, and then there's a higher chance that they would notice. But we've generally found that the majority of people, people say, "Oh, I tricked my spouse," or "I tricked my kids," and we don't necessarily recommend that. It can be a little bit cruel to trick someone into eating something they didn't expect to. But we do think that when we create alternatives, we want them to replace the thing that you're eating. We want to be your Tuesday night pasta night. Your Thursday night pizza night. Like, we want to fill that role for you. That said, I want to take nothing away from the wonderful pasta and pizza restaurants around this country that, make stuff in-house and stuff like that. No problem with them doing that. Nothing wrong with pasta and pizza. We just think we can make it a little bit more nutritious.
Right. And you guys are currently selling it through retail channels. It's not mainly an online distribution.
Yeah, we are vast majority retail.
Okay. And so have you guys looked into going to the quick service restaurants, the other chains, and saying, hey, swap out your pasta for Banza?
We actually just launched our pizza crust in a small chain called Oath Pizza, which is sort of our first foot into that world. It's something we had been intending to do a while ago, but of course the pandemic put a serious delay on expansion and change in the food world. But we do think that restaurants, colleges and universities, corporate cafeterias, K through 12, hopefully someday, if we can get the legislation right, those are all places where we can introduce a healthier, great tasting alternative. And it's allergen friendly also, which is increasingly a consideration for people.
So I know you guys have recently expanded the products. As you mentioned earlier, you've got pizza, mac and cheese, and rice.
Yes.
Which was interesting to see. What's the bigger thinking here about where the product and business goes from this point?
Yeah, we have a bunch of ideas. I think, what we've started with is mealtime comfort foods. We find that dinner is like one of the hardest meals for people to figure out what to do with every day. And you need an answer that's quick and that's healthy and that's tasty and that everyone in your family will eat. And that's a very difficult combination. You as a father, I'm sure know this, that like it can be kind of a wrestling match. And so we're focused on those like mealtime staples, comfort foods that people already love. And we want to make them out of chickpeas. And if there was a more suitable bean or legume, we would use that instead. That said, from there are a lot of different places we can go. We've been, one of the things that we believe is that the principles of the Mediterranean diet are good tenets to live by. We think there are a lot of other foods you can continue to make out of beans and chickpeas. We've got some interesting stuff in the pipeline. And of course, we're moving into different channels as well, like we were just talking about food service. So getting outside the grocery store and, other ways where you could get, bean-based foods into your home.
Now that you guys have a few SKUs, have you figured out what products sell best? Do they all work, or is there some lesson you've learned around where people buy replacement foods? I have this theory that some people just want comfort food to be comfort food at some point, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Where does it fit?
And I think that's, to me, that's like the Tuesday night dinner thing. Like people are gonna eat like indulgent foods and the stuff they love. And I think, what you find is most people are seeking some form of balance, but balance is actually really hard. Balance means like a constant state of tension. And we talk about balance like it's a good thing, but like imagine holding balance and then that just being like your permanent state of living. And that's what most of our relationship with food is like. Like I know I'm like constantly making trade-offs and like counting things. And like I've been doing this for like longer than I can remember. And I think a lot of people, or at least people who are sort of intentional about how they eat, think that way also. So for us, we sort of say, hey, we want to be an easy solve for that, but we're not trying to be the only food you eat. Like we're not Soylent out here. We're not saying replace all your meals with this one thing. We just want to be kind of part of the fabric and a go-to and a reliable staple in your pantry or in your freezer where you say, hey, here's dinner. We were surprised to find that we sell great in the Whole Foods of the world, and they've been a terrific, terrific partner for us. But there's a wide range of different stores and places where we can do great. We have a great business in Target and Kroger and Walmart as well as, like strong regional grocery stores. So it's really like eating healthy and solving the dinner problem is like a national thing. It's not just a thing that, people in certain areas are thinking about. For a long time, we were surprised that we didn't have as much of a concentration, on the West Coast as you might have expected, that it was like, hey, the Midwest was really strong. Texas was really strong. And so it's been fun to see this be kind of a distributed national shift in how we eat. And we think a lot of that is generational.